Okay, so just a little heads up, we would normally use our basic DVD space, like a little shelf for displays and stuff, but considering we're kind of building a set for the finale right now, we kind of can't do that right now, but I don't know, this new setup with some old recorded VHSs up the shelf, YTV, and, you know, the backdrop with the DVD or whatever, it might do some good this time around. But anyway, hey guys, what's up? It's BigJackFilms here, and welcome back to the InuYasha vlogs. We are finally back to start up the next season, which is Season 6, which is episodes 127 to 146. We're here for the long run on these next set of episodes. We cannot wait to share our thoughts on this, and we're going to start with the first two episodes, which is a storyline in and of itself. As you guys know, if it's like a bunch of different parters, we do try to essentially do them all in one vlog rather than individual episodes. So, we are starting with episodes 127 and 128, the Dried Up Demon arc, which is a filler episode, but a fun one. And yes, I did take notes this time so I can remember what I'm talking about. So if I keep looking down, I do apologize. It's just me pretty much saying, oh, guys, here's what happened. So, this takes place after the fall of Mount Hakurei. As you guys know, Kikyo died. We also had the third movie in between. So if you guys want to see my thoughts on movie 3, go check that out. Link down below. It's actually a pretty interesting review, especially when you get to the post-credit scene. But regardless, Kagome essentially goes home. Back to her time. She's had a long journey. Mount Hakurei's gone. Kikyo's gone. All that stuff. She needs a bit of a break. So she goes back to her homeworld. And, basically, is given these foods that are these dried up foods that are sort of these expired demons, I guess. And she takes them to the future and essentially, gets back to normal. Have a really nice, bath scene. So, for the fans, a little fan service there, which is always very nice. And then, on top of that, getting back to her, normal human world, she goes back to school thinking, okay, I should catch up on studying, but obviously, her friends think she's got another weird virus or something. Like, apparently now it's about psychological problems. Grandpa's had to come up with new excuses where it's like, oh, she's hearing things in her head and it's weird. So she's like, oh god, now it's mental health. But that's not the case. And it turns out also, there is no studying. Why is that? There's a Japanese cultural festival happening at the school, and everybody has to participate. So, with that being said, Kagome is given a bunch of different other pieces of work to do that isn't schoolwork. She has to be an understudy, she has to be a cook, she has to be sort of a set decorator, and all of her friends are essentially making her do all this stuff. And what's really funny is that, I'll say this too, there's a lot of singing in this, and because they're doing an English dub, normally English dubs with singing do not work out too well. So it's kind of annoying, and I'm not gonna lie when I say I was kind of like Shrek, where I'm just like, stop singing! It's so cringy. Like, there's even a moment where they play a classical piece of music. I can't remember what it's called. It's something where it's, you know, it's like, you know, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I guess public domain, that's how they're able to do it. It's the song you remember from the Drink Milk, Love Life commercials from Got Milk. So, regardless, while all that's happening, Kagome has to cook and stuff, and obviously there's some dried food demons that have to be, you know, she's like, okay, well, I'll probably use this. Big mistake. Now we got some demon problems in between all the shenanigans happening back and forth. While that's happening, InuYasha does come back. And actually, no, we actually, essentially go to, Kaido for a recap of what's been happening. Obviously, with Naraku still out there, the place is now once again plaguing with demons. And on top of that, he is pretty much gone back into hiding again. I mean, it's ridiculous. We just had him at the end of the third season, and we were building the whole next season to find him. The next 2 seasons, now he's back to that. But you think, okay, well, this is going to be the same par se, where they're just going to be doing that over and over again. But no! Actually, it turns out, plot twist, Naraku is still out there doing some business. It's not just him hiding. His body's actually stronger than before, so he's a little bit less easier to kill. He's just keeping his tracks and more stealth. So he comes across this weird priest guy in like a lake who's got these big ears, and the idea is that he's trying to find the remaining jewel shards, and this saint or this priest. I can't remember what the fuck his name is. It's some sort of like shinky character. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm trying to read my own notes essentially. Basically on this list. Yeah, so he goes there and basically says, you know, I need to know where the last jewel shard is. Can you hear it? And the priest thinks like, demon things like, okay, I'll go find it for you. So we'll save that for later. But anyway, so now Kagome has to not only do this cooking stuff and everything, we also find out a lot of her friends' names, which, funny enough, her 3 friends that are on her quest and everything, we don't rarely know what their names are, and 2 of them I can name are Ayumi and Ani, I believe. Yeah, pretty much are the 2 of her 3 friends. I can't remember the 3rd one, but on top of that, one of them is a director of a play during the festival, and basically has Kagome on as an understudy to play Princess Escargot Pudding. Yes, this is just a pun-filled episode, isn't it? And so she's also being an actress, and I do like this because it gives a chance for Monica's story to be a bit more Shakespearean and a bit more, like, dramatic, but obviously it's, like phoned in, but at the same time you get to see more of her acting abilities as Kagome, which is actually pretty damn nice, all things considered. So basically, while that's happening, InuYasha's kind of fucking around the house and everything, but he's like, I gotta do some stuff. So he goes down to the festival just to keep an eye on Kagome, and obviously wacky shenanigans happen and all that jazz. And on top of that, like, it's funny because during this play, they're doing like this sort of fantasy play, Hojo's there. And Hojo is playing the main hero and everything to Kagome, so it's the classic, you know, prince and princess scenario, essentially. And when we get to that play and all the stuff's happening with the demons and stuff to try to slay them, it's the first time we see InuYasha and Hojo meet. They've never met before. We've known Akitoki Hojo from The Ancestor, which was the only relevant thing in the 2nd movie, but this is the first time they actually bump into each other. You'd think InuYasha would recognize him and say, oh, Hojo, what are you doing here? And no, but, like, again, just plot convenience, that doesn't happen. But they kind of get into sort of this staged fight scene. Like, they don't sword fight, but basically Hojo's, like, playing along with the act, and he thinks InuYasha's one of the actors, but InuYasha's, like, taking it totally serious. But then, obviously, one of the demons comes onto stage, and you think, oh god, it's all over. But no, it turns out, InuYasha and them, like, basically take out, like, InuYasha takes out the demon pretty easily, but obviously the audience is duped into thinking this is part of the show, and at the end they're like, yeah! Woo! It's like a big special effects romp, and you're just like, oh, you know what? I've seen this before. This is something that's a trait in a couple animes where you have like the big stage production where all the kids have to do it and then all of a sudden real stuff happens and all the audience is thinking it's a special effect. I think if I was in that theater, I'd be like, where the fuck did they get the budget for this? Because the effects are incredible. But to the point, it kind of actually reminds me of like I don't know if you guys remember that school play that those kids in real life did of Ridley Scott's Alien. They did a literal shot-for-shot stage production, dramatic stage production of Alien, and it was actually pretty damn impressive. Now, even Ridley Scott loved it. I think he actually ordered them to do a show for him because he loved it so much. But it sort of reminded me of that in that way, I guess, how the audience received this little stage production. But to the point, Sailor Moon did this once. They did this in an episode where I think they had to do the story of Snow White, and they all had to, like, play the different characters, and then, obviously, a Negaverse monster attacks, and then, like, you know, they have to take it out, and then everything's, oh, cool, it's part of the show. But I've seen this scenario in a few other animes, but it's a cool scenario. It's a cool cliche that you don't see often, but it's kind of fun. And regardless, it makes for a pretty decent filler two-parter. And then, ultimately, by the end of it, you know, the celebration's all good. I'll also say a lot of the cultural stuff is very Miyazaki, Spirited Away inspired. The only thing I have an issue with in this two-parter is that Sota and Grandpa are so fucking annoying in this. Like, you have Grandpa basically being the only one trying to do, like, I'm gonna be like the Sutra, like, use my secret sutras to take out the demon. Meanwhile, Sota's just like, Iron Reaver Soul Stealer, like, every chance she gets, and the mom's like, now calm down. And it's so annoying. It's so engraving. Like, okay, Grandpa, I understand. Mom, I understand. Sota, you are the bad part of this. Like, I don't like this family squad trying to help out. Just stay in your lane. So the episode ends, the two-parter ends, and obviously InuYasha and Kagome go back to the feudal era, and we're back on the adventure, we're back on the quest, and it actually surprisingly ends with a post-credit scene where essentially Naraku figures out the jewel shards. You think, oh god, this is going to be a filler thing. But no, they actually do something interesting. It's not just filler. There are plot points to be put out. And there's a post-credit scene, so they do pull a Marvel, where Naraku asks, okay, hey, man, where's the thing? And the priest demon thing with the big ears is like, it is in the border between this world and the next. And you're like, well, what could that be? Well, you'll have to find out as we go through all of Season 6. And that's essentially our start. I do like the fact that the 6th season actually does have, it starts with a two-parter to get people back into the story. That is a very smart move from a writer's perspective and an episodic perspective. And what's interesting is that's also a good transition, because Part 1 opens with the 2 songs that we were used to, which was the one by, I think, Every Little Thing, which was like that very Christmas kind of song at the beginning. I can't remember what it's even called, but I do like that song. And, you know, with the Band of 7 and everything. And then the second song, the ending song, is Do As Infinity's Mischievous Kiss, which is a really good song, by the way. It's a really decent one. But with this one, with this episode, well, Part 2, actually, they switched the song. So around Part 2, the second part of the premiere, they changed it up. Now it's a brand new track. I think it's called, like, One Dream or something like that. To be honest, it's called One Day, One Dream. To be honest, I don't like this song. I think it is way too family-friendly. I think it is way too, joyous. I don't know. It doesn't feel like InuYasha. It's not one of my personal favorites of the entire ending intros or whatever to the series. But the closing to the second episode, which is our new one, is the song, and just forgive the name of it. It's called Come. And it is the beat is very kind of erotic-ish, sort of something you'd see in sort of a porno, I guess. But it's actually performed by the artist who did the ending track for the third movie, which I think is a nice transition. Like, hey, you guys did this song for our movie, you want to do the song for the show. And they're like, okay, cool. So that's the other thing that's kind of cool, is that there's a nice transition between the previous song we were used to and now the new song. So that's a plus. Do I wish it was in the beginning of the new season? That would have actually been nice if they just actually saved it for the new season rather than just use the old one for, like, the last episode. But I guess to kind of get people back into the series, they did that, which is, again, pretty damn smart. So, what are my thoughts on the dried up demon arc? To be honest, like, it's a decent start. I'm not going to be expecting much, because I have heard this is another filler season until we get, like, halfway through, but we'll have to see when we get there. I'm curious to see where it goes at this point, what the new characters are going to introduce. It is nice to get back into the world again after, like, a long hiatus. We haven't done this vlog in a while. It's nice to get back into the series, it's nice to get back into the universe, and on top of that, it's just good to see the characters and just start them off as how they would normally be in normal situations where there's nothing too dramatic happening. I'm gonna give the dried up demon arc about an average 7, 6 or 7. It's nothing, like, really advancing the plot, but at the same time, it's a nice return to the world again. And I'm looking forward to see what they do next with this series, and what they're going to do this coming season. So let me know your thoughts on the dried up demon arc in the comment section below. And once again, guys, thank you so much for coming back to the InuYasha vlogs. We are going to continue with Season 5, and then we're going to go into, or no, this is Season 6. This is not Season 5, it's Season 6. We're going to go into Season 6, and then we're going to do Season 7, and then we're going to do the 4th movie. But if you guys obviously want to support the channel, check out our Patreon, just $1 more will get you early access to all of our content, as well as other special features. And on top of that, you can see Ready Player One extremely early, Part 1, because it will be going out January 31st, but it's up now on Patreon. On top of that, if you want to vote, if you want us to, like, talk about a movie and a vlog review series on opening night, you can just donate $5, and then if you want a full BigJackFilms review down the line, that'll be $100. So there's what's happening with the Patreon and so on. And yeah, I'm glad to be back on this vlog series. I've missed watching the show. And I don't know, what do you guys think of the setup, too? I am curious what you guys think of this. If you liked, like, the background of, like, the old record... Because, believe it or not, these are old VHS recordings that I used to tape the show off television on YTV. So, yes, they're of poor quality. Yes, there's that. But there's just a nostalgia to it. So, if you like that as part of the videos, let me know. I will block it half the time just for copyright reasons. Only because, like, I don't want there to be too much interference and stuff. But, yeah. let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think of this arc. And until the next video, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off saying, if you have dried up fruit that turned out to be a demon, just put them in a stage show and you'll get critical praise. I don't know, but I'll see you guys in the next episode. Until then, take it easy.